Okay, welcome to the revision session for sales mix and quantity variance and planning and operational variance. Earlier we did material mix and yield variance. Okay, so let me tell you, you guys are familiar with total sales volume variance, right? Okay, but what are the conditions where we need to split our volume variance into these two subvariances? Okay, there is a condition for that, right? So earlier we used to sell different products and the products weren't interchangeable. Okay, means one product couldn't be replaced by the other. But there are two conditions in order to split and analyze the impact on the profits, okay, of a lesser volume and their impact on the profit due to change in the mix and the quantity. So the condition for that is when you're selling more than one products, number one, and number two, the products are interchangeable. The products are interchangeable. Just like I told you, okay, when there are more than one materials and those materials are interchangeable, then the usage variance need to be subdivided into material mix and yield variance, just to tell you a better idea that what is the impact on the cost due to the usage. Is it that the quantity isn't changing, but it is due to the change in the mix, okay, which will have an impact on the cost, or it is the quantity, overall quantity which was being used rather than which should have been used, that has got an impact on the usage. So just like that, here when we are selling more than one products and also the products are interchangeable, just like tea can be replaced with coffee, ice cream can with soda, cake or dessert, if a company is selling the substitute of that product as well. Like in services, we're providing standard repair, premium repair, yeah, the standard wash or the detailed wash, or we're providing saving accounts or the current account. So our products are basically interchangeable. Customer can switch from one product to the other. And also if one and they have when they have different profit margins, okay, when they have different profit margins as well, so definitely it will have an impact when the total quantity would be the same. When quantity would be the same, just by differing their mix, it will have an impact on the profit. How? For example, the standard mix was to sell, for example, 500 units of one product A and there was another product B. Okay, this has a profit of 10 per unit, but this is an expensive. This is a product with a good profit margins. Okay, so they have different profit margins and they have more than one product and and they are interchangeable as well. Okay, so this was our standard mix. Even though the quantity won't change, okay, now we will sell 1500 units. But for example, what will happen if we are going to sell, okay, total is 1500, but we are going to sell less units of this. Instead of 1000, for example, we are selling 800 of this, and in order to compensate it, what are the other quantity that we'll need to sell? Because the quantity isn't changed. When it's mixed variance, the quantity isn't changed, means we didn't sell 1000 of that, we sold, instead of that we sold 800. Okay, and 1500 minus 800, and for the other, instead of selling 700 500, we sold 700. The quantity isn't changing. What will this have an impact on our overall average profits that we'll gain? Okay, which is basically the sales volume variance tells you about the impact due to the change in the volume, the impact on the profits, right? And one of the impact is that of the mix and the other one is that of the quantity. Here we're not talking about the quantity, that due to the quantity, different quantity sold as compared to the budgeted quantity. It's not that. Here we are just assuming that the quantity is the same, is just because of changing the sales mix. Okay, and we are going towards a low profit margin product as compared to a high profit margin product, as in this case we're selling more of a low profit margin product as compared to a high profit margin product. So it will lead to an adverse mix variance. Okay, but if it would have been the other way around, for example, we sold, instead of 1000, we sold 1200 of that, 1200 and remaining 1500 and 300 of that. Instead of selling 500 units of a low profit margin product, we actually sold 300 units of that. And the overall, it is 1500. There's no quantity change. But this will have a positive impact. Our average profits will increase. Why? Because we actually sold a more profitable product more and a less profitable product less. So it has overall increased our average profit. So it will lead to a favorable mix variance. Okay, it will lead to a favorable mix variance. So when your products are more than one and also the products are interchangeable, they have different profit margins, definitely it will have an impact on your profits. Let me tell you something about the sales mix. Definitely sales mix have an impact on the profits. Okay, as I told you, I could sell, for example, 10,000 units of a low profit margin product, which is, for example, gives you a profit of 1 per unit. Okay. And from that, I only got a profit of 10,000, though I sold how many units? I sold 10,000 units. But for example, if my focus was towards selling a more profitable product, which was, for example, gives you a profit of 20 per unit, okay, definitely, even by selling low units, less units, I would have been able to sell more profits. I would have been able to get more profits. Even by I could have obtained here, I got a profit of 10,000 by selling 10,000 units, but here, even by selling low units, I could have achieved more profit. And if I was able to sell more units, definitely the profit would just increase even when the sales are not that much. Okay, so and what are our sales manager focused on? Sales managers, and definitely they have their commissions associated, their rewards associated with that. So definitely they are given a targets. Okay, what is basically how we set a standard mix, because what we want to achieve, we want to increase our profits, and then we set a standard mix according to that. At times we deliberately set our standard mix, but due to economy, for example, the two products we're selling, okay, for example, the basic wash and a very detailed wash. Okay, so the basic wash just gives you a margin of, for example, 30, and the detailed wash is, for example, giving you a margin of 100 per unit. But due to economic crisis, the customer definitely, for example, due to economic crisis, economic conditions are not good, maybe the disposable incomes are low in such economy. So customers are deliberately choosing for a base, they're interchanging and choosing for a basic wash rather than doing a very detailing one. Especially in the COVID circumstances, definitely we have lessened our expenses and everything, because it has impacted our incomes and everything. So it's not that you can control your actual mix. At times you can do with the help of your advertisement campaigns and all that, but at times you cannot control your mix, and it's the external factors that actually control your mix, just like the economic factors and all that. So uh, uh, in order to increase the profit, definitely the mix is very important. So when company is selling more than one product and they want to see what is the difference, why is the sales volume variance is adverse or favorable, so the two things they need to analyze. Okay, which is the sales mix due to the change in the mix, but not the change in the quantity. And this actually tells you that you were able to sell more or less units as compared to the budgeted quantity. So due to the quantity, okay, the profit has increased or profit was less. So this actually measures that thing. But this only measures the impact on the profits due to change in the mix. Like you're going towards a more profitable product, or you're going, your mix was towards a less profitable product. So at times you are required to define. So let me go through the definitions as well. And you are required to at times define, or you, at times in a question they give you, you're required to explain what is sales, what sales mix variance is all about, or what sales quantity variance is all about. So sales mix variance measures the effect on profit if a company is using marginal costing. So definitely the impact on the profit or an impact on the contribution of changing the actual mix as compared to the standard mix, right? And a favorable total mix variance suggests that a higher proportion of a more profitable product was sold as compared to, which has overall increased your average profit. And when it is adverse, that means that more of a less profitable product was sold, definitely reducing the overall profit per unit. That is why the mix variance is adverse. And what is sales quantity variance? It measures the effect on profit due to a different actual total quantity sold as compared to the budgeted quantity. Okay. So a favorable sales quantity variance indicates that actual quantity sold is more than the budgeted quantity. Yeah, that will give rise to favorable. And adverse sales quantity variance suggests that actual quantity sold is less than the standard quantity, and that both have impacted on the profit. It is not due to the change in the mix, but due to the overall quantity being sold, right? So let me go through the formulas here as well. Okay, so sales mix variance, it is actual quantity in actual mix minus actual quantity in standard mix. Okay, it is the difference between these two. This tells you the actual quantity that should have been sold if the standard mix wasn't changed. And this tells you what was the actual quantity actually sold in the actual mix. And whatever is the difference, it is a deciding factor whether you sold a profitable product more, and that would have an impact on the net variances. Okay, so quantity variance, and then you multiply in absorption costing, you multiply with standard profit per unit, and in absorption costing, you multiply it with standard contribution per unit, and you get your net variances for all the products you have. Okay. Okay. Usually when you're measuring the cost variances, this is an important thing I need to discuss about. Why I have put actual first and then budgeted. Okay, this is actual and then budgeted. Because when you're measuring the cost variance, the budgeted cost should have been 10,000, but the cost was 12,000. So it gives you a 2,000 adverse variance. So when you're measuring the cost, definitely I'll put standard first and then the actual. But for example, have a look at the revenue variances. For example, I was supposed to sell 1 lakh, but I actually sold 1 lakh 50,000. So definitely it's a favorable thing, but if I'm going to put the budget first, it will give rise to an adverse variance, right? So here in revenue part, I will put the actual first, okay, and then the budget. Then it will give you a positive variance of 50,000, like favorable. Okay, and then for example, I was supposed to I sold actually 150,000. However, the target was 2 lakh, and definitely means my actual was less than the target, so it is, for example, it is 50,000 adverse. So in revenue, I'm putting actual first and then the budget. So here it goes like this. Okay, but in cost variance, I put standard first and then the actual, but here I put actual first and then the budget. Okay, then it gives me the correct figure of the variance. So here about the sales quantity variance. Okay, so it is the second column of the mix variance is the same as the first column of the quantity variance. So it is actual quantity in standard mix minus standard quantity in standard mix. So difference of both, and they multiply by the profit per unit will give you the net variance. Okay. And what is standard quantity in standard mix? That's actually your budgeted units. These are your budgeted units, right? Yeah. And actual quantity and actual mix is basically your actual units, right? And if I tell you about the volume variance, what is actually volume variance? Volume variance is actual units minus budgeted units into standard profit per unit in absorption costing and standard contribution per unit in marginal costing. So I can say that if, for example, at times I have to analyze the variances, I need to calculate the volume variance, or at times examiner asks you to calculate the volume variance as well. So this is actual units, and this is first column of mix variance, and second column of the quantity variance is basically the budgeted units. These are the actual units and these are the budgeted units. Okay. So if you're going to take the difference of that, will give you the total quantity variance, and multiply by standard profit per unit, it will give you the total variance. Okay. So sales mix variance is when more than one product is sold and products are interchangeable, when it would be favorable and when it would be adverse, when more profitable product is sold more, and less profitable product is sold less, then it will be favorable. And the other way around, when less profitable product was sold more and more profitable product was sold less, it will be an adverse sales mix variance. and what will cause a favorable sales quantity variance. Okay, at times we decrease price, or the product is good, or it's there's a boom in the market, it's a favorable market, economic conditions are good. Okay, that could give rise to there's a boom in the economy that could give rise to favorable sales quantity variance. And the other way around, what could give rise to adverse? Because at times we need to investigate the reasons of the variances as well. We know the mix is entirely due to uh, selling a different product being sold than what was there in the mix. It could be deliberate, and it could be influenced by the economic factors as well, I told you. And sales quantity variance is adverse. We increase the price and the demand actually decreased, or it was a bad quality product, yeah, or it was adverse market conditions or economic conditions weren't very good. So definitely that would have, or maybe any competitor has entered into the market and they have taken the market share. Or there could be multiple reasons for that, right? So you need to identify things from the scenario, because there'll be hints in the scenario what and when. You need to take the hints from the scenario about the economy, about the competition into the market, about the prices and everything. And then you need to discuss about the sales performance of the company. Discuss about sales performance, definitely on numbers. And at times you are required to do some additional calculations as well. So here is a question. It's a past paper question. Okay, here's a question, past paper question. It's from the latest past papers available in the ACC website. Whenever you're preparing for the exam, always, because it's twice a year that they give you, they don't publish the objective test questions, but they do publish the section C type questions and a couple of objective test questions in the examiner reports they come. So whenever you're preparing for the exam, always go through the examiner reports, the latest examiner reports, in fact, all the examiner reports, because those come up with analysis. It tells you, examiner tells you where the exam, what was lacking, what understanding was lacking, what application of the knowledge was lacking, why students struggled, why they selected a wrong answer. So it gives you the reasons why people fail in the exam. So those are very good. And also 2 times they published section C type questions as well. Okay, and those are available. Those are the latest past papers available. So do go through all of those before appearing for any exam, any level exam, even for a very starter paper. Always read the technical articles. Okay, go through the examiner reports. Okay, there is read the mind of the marker. It's a very good document. It gives you an insight what an examiner is looking for in your answer, and what it gives you. It compares the 2 kinds of script for a person who has actually passed and the ones who were not able to make it. So it also, all these are very important things. I have cleared my ACC in first attempt, and this was my strategy. I used to cover each and everything above the textbooks and the TET practice. I used to go through the examiner report questions, and I used to read the technical articles. For example, if you're weak in certain area, definitely go through their technical articles. Usually I post the technical articles in my classroom as well, so that you guys go through the technical articles. So here what we are supposed to do, let me quickly go through the requirement here. Here it's a 4-marker requirement. We need to calculate the following total variances for clear core lens treatments, right? There are 2 types of treatments given here. One is RLE and one is ICL. So we need to calculate the total mix contribution variance, means for RLE and for ICL both. And also sales quantity contribution variance, 4 marks each. As I told you, the formulas here. And that's part A. Now it's part B is explain what each of the sales mix contribution variance and sales quantity contribution variance actually measures. I've already told you what it actually measures. So here you just need to define with some explanation that what it tells you. Okay, sales mix variance tells you the impact on the profit due to a different mix being sold than the standard mix. However, sales quantity contribution variance measures the impact on the profit due to a different actual quantity being sold than the budgeted quantity. So that's it. That's it. That's what you are required to explain, and you will get your 2 marks, 1 mark each. Okay. So this is what you were required to do in this B part. It was entirely a knowledge-based question. At times you are just given straight knowledge-based questions. But in case of an application based question, for example, if it carried more marks, or if it had been like explain what each of the sales mix contribution variance and sales quantity contribution variance measures in case of Clearco, then in that case, I would have to explain regarding it would have been an application based scenario, and I was supposed to use the whenever why I was telling the definition, or maybe I'll pick some example related to the company, specific company, and I will then not write just a bookish definition to get the marks, then I'll be writing specifically to Clearco company. Okay, so that's a difference between a knowledge-based requirement or an application-based requirement. So it was a totally knowledge-based requirement. If you go through the third part, using your answer from part A where we calculated the sales mix and the quantity variance, and any other relevant calculations, because in sales, I am given a couple of things here. I can actually analyze the sales. I am given the budgeted units. I'm given the actual units. I can measure the increase, decrease in decrease in volume sold. Yeah. And I'm given the selling prices. I can measure the increase, decrease in the selling prices. I can calculate the budgeted revenue or the actual revenue. And then I can actually calculate the increase, decrease in the revenue. So there are a couple of things I can do besides the calculation for sales mix and quantity. I can even calculate sales price variance in this scenario. Okay. Because when it's discussing about performance of the manager, and especially it has said that any other relevant calculations apart from the calculation done on part A, you are required to discuss, and it's for 10 marks. Discuss Clearco sales performance for the year just ended. So when I'll be doing additional calculations, as I told you, over and above the sales mix and quantity variance, it will give me more insight into the business, what has been going on. And also I need to go through the paragraphs for the facts, Clearco, industry, the competition, type of competition they will have. So all those things I need to gather, and then I need to apply it in discussion. So it says there are up to 4 marks available for additional calculations. You see, this 10 marks needs to be subdivided into 4 marks for additional calculations. So it's not just I will rely on the sales mix and quantity variance. I am required to do the additional calculations here as well. Since I can calculate the sales price variance, net volume variance, yeah. And 6 marks is for discussion of the sales performance using the numbers you have calculated in part A and also the additional calculations you did. Right? So let's get started. Let me read the question now. Clearco is an eye treatment specialist founded in 2004, which runs 5 clinics nationwide. Okay. It's an eye treatment specialist, right? It is based in Zealand, a country in which 20% of the population is over a country in which 20% of the population is over 65 years old compared to only 15% 10 years ago. Okay, so now they tell you that earlier the elderly population was 15%, but now it's growing and now it is 20%. So that means from the scenario where this company is located in the Zealand, the elderly population is increasing, right? And Clearco offers 2 treatments procedures, like it's laser treatment and lens treatment. Okay, so laser treatment is the less complex of the 2 procedures, as we all know. Okay, we get rid of the glasses. Yeah, we younger people get rid of the glasses. So laser treatment is less complex as well. Technology changes rapidly in this industry, and as a result, 90% of the patients now even qualify for the laser treatment compared to 80% 5 years ago. So 80% it was earlier, but now it's 90% they are going for laser, less complex treatment. So the lens treatment is only 10% of the population is actually getting a more complex lens treatment. So more are elderly. So what the facts we have gathered from the scenario is elderly population is increasing in Zealand. And also another thing is there in the scenario that 90% of the people are actually taking the less complex, which is laser treatment. And the remaining 10% are only able to have lens treatment, of which there are 2 types, of which Clearco is operating in the lens treatment market, and it's kind of 2 types. One is refractive lens exchange, and the other one is implantable contact lenses, RLE and ICL. Clearco stated providing RLE treatment most effective for patients aged 40 or older. So now you know what is RLE, which is a lens treatment for. It is for elderly people, right? And what is ICL for? It is under age of 40. Yeah, 40 or older, and the other one is under the age of 40. So 2 years ago, it also began providing ICL. So ICL just started 2 years ago. Before that, it was only providing RLE, right? A treatment recommended for patients under the age of 40. So that's for younger ICL, and that's for older people. That's what I've gathered from the scenario. And the market, now what is the competition there in the market? The market for eye treatment procedures in Zealand is dominated by few main suppliers, of which Clearco is one until 2 years ago. But now the competition is fierce. Why? Because Clearco was the largest supplier, but following the merger of two companies, it is now the second largest. Yeah. And that is why it is facing difficulties in the sales now. The merged company has recently released its financial statements for the year, showing profits which were 10% higher than the forecast. Definitely, that means they've taken the market share. Yeah. And Zealand is currently struggling. Definitely. They need to look into their market strategies now. But before that, we need to analyze what has been going wrong, analyze the sales performance for both RLE and ICL. Okay, then we will come up and we can discuss, do the additional calculations, and then tell you the reasons for the sales performance. US press release stated that it has achieved this despite offering reduced prices for the ICL treatment. It has been able to offer reduced prices because of the economies of scale achieved by the merger. Okay, so they were able to take a lot of the market share despite offering reduced prices. Why they were able to offer the reduced prices? Because they merged, and when there are mergers, definitely you take the benefit, and you actually achieve benefit from both the companies, and in terms of cost, and you actually achieve that level which is economical to produce, which is basically where the average cost per unit actually decreases. So they were able to provide a reduced prices. But what if Clearco also reduced the prices? But definitely the cost basis isn't that much. Definitely the profit would have been impacted because of the competition. They might have to reduce the price as well. And as you can see here too, these are basically the selling prices. If you can see, RLE budgeted was 3,000. They actually reduced it, right? And ICL budgeted was 3,650, and they have actually reduced the prices for both RLE and ICL. Definitely they're struggling for that. Okay, let's first calculate these variances, which is sales mix contribution variance and sales total sales quantity variance, which the sum of both which will actually give me the total sales volume variance. And then I can analyze the performance better. Sales mix variance I need to calculate. And what is the formula for sales mix variance? It is actual quantity in actual mix minus actual quantity in standard mix. This will give me the difference of quantity in terms of units. And then I need to multiply it with standard. As you can see here, this selling price given to me and this variable cost given to me. So it would be standard, not standard profit per unit. It would be standard contribution per unit. And it will be converted into the, it will have an, tell you the impact on the contribution due to due to change in the mix. So in monetary figure. So what is the actual quantity for RLE? If you see, it is for RLE actual is 4130 and for ICL it is 960. 4130 and 960. What is the total for that? What is the total quantity? Total quantity is 5090. And what is the mix? I'll be needing the actual quantity in standard mix as well. Okay, that what actual quantity should have been in the standard mix. And what is the standard mix in that? Let me add up this as well. So the standard mix, if I say, would be 3750 divided by 5070. Okay, that would be standard mix for RLE. And what would be standard mix for ICL? It would be 1320 divided by 5070. So actual quantity and actual mix is, I would just, I can create a link here. I've already have the values there. So it is 4130 and 960. Okay, 4130 and 960. I've taken these values from here. Now, here I need to calculate what was the quantity that should have been sold as per the standard mix. It's not the difference, the quantity difference won't be there, but now the actual quantity sold would be for 5090. Okay, if you can see the actual quantity sold is 5090, but what it should have been in the standard mix. So standard mix 3750 divided by 5070 into 5090. So that is the actual quantity sold that should have been in the standard mix for RLE. It was 3764, means we actually sold more than the standard, right? We actually sold more than the standard. And what I'll do is, in order to save time, just copy paste it down there, and I can just change the rest of the figures would be the same. Just change the mix to 1320 here. That's it. And if you can see, there's no change in the quantity. As I told you, the total, just the proportion of the unit being sold actually changes, but the overall quantity isn't depicted in the mix variance. The overall quantity sold change is actually depicted in quantity variance. So mix variance only measures the impact on the profit due to a different mix sold than a standard mix, right? And I need to calculate the standard contribution per unit here. See how I'm going to do that. 3000 minus 600. I need to, it's standard contribution. I don't need to take the actual contribution for RLE and ICL. I need to stick to the standard contribution. That was the volume variance is all about. And these are the sub volume variance. Okay, sub variances of volume variance. So here it's the standard figure I need to take. So it would be 3000 minus 600 for RLE, so 2400, and it would be 3650 minus 1150 for 3650 minus 1150 for ICL. These are the standard contribution per unit. Now I can see that I was supposed to sell this, I actually sold more. And which is a more profitable product? It is ICL rather than RLE. Okay, so I actually sold more units of a less profitable product, and instead of selling 1325 of ICL, which was in the standard mix, I actually sold less. So definitely it will have an impact. It will make my average profits lower than the average profits I would have achieved if I didn't deviate from my standard mix. So definitely my mix variance may be adverse. Let's see if it is adverse or not. So just I am going to take the difference of this and this. Then for cost, I need to multiply this times standard contribution per unit. So this gives you, this tells you that you actually sold more, and that's the increase in the profit, yeah, for RLE. But and now I'm just going to copy this down there, yeah. Now it tells me, since the quantity, there's no quantity difference. If I see the quantity difference is not there, so if I sold less of that, in order to compensate that, if I sold more of a less profitable product, which was RLE, so in order to compensate that, because quantity difference should be zero, so I will sell less of a more profitable product, which was ICL. So more quantity sold, so less of that, 365 would be less, so overall quantity variance would be zero here. And now actually I lost profit here. I actually increased profit by selling more of that, and this was the total increase from RLE. But if Control C and down there, and it will automatically calculate it. So and you can verify it as well. This multiplied by this, that's what it is. Just copy it down, and it will be, the second row will be calculated automatically. And the net variances I can see as well. So it is mixed variance, which is adverse, because I sold, this was a less profitable product, and I sold more of a less profitable product. That was the increase in the profit. But that was a more profitable product, actually sold less units, and I actually lost profit 913 of the profit I lost, and this was the gain in the profit. And if I net of both figure, this is I've actually lost. Overall, I've actually lost profit because of my changing mix. Quantity change wasn't there, but due to change in the mix, I've actually lost my profit. That's what the interpretation of the mix variance is. Now, moving over to the quantity variance, I told you the second column of this is actually the first column for the quantity variance. So I just copy it down there here. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me copy all of it down there and then make the changes. Here it is. I copied it entirety because then I don't have to apply the formulas again. And I told you the second column of mixed variance is actually the first column of the quantity variance. Let me show you the formulas as well. We have been through the formulas. This is here. Now we are calculating the quantity variance. Actual quantity standard mix. The second column of mix variance is actually the first column of the quantity variance. And now it will be standard quantity in standard mix. Okay. So now it will be standard quantity in standard mix. And what is standard quantity in standard mix? It is basically the budgeted quantity. The budgeted is 3750 of RLE and 1320 of ICL that I've written here. 3750 standard quantity and standard mix, 3750